My white moonlight turned dark, and the CEO who claimed to love me could go on business trips abroad but couldn't visit me, couldn't afford a plane ticket, or couldn't spare a moment. He called me his white moonlight to my face, but turned around and found someone to replace me. Is his love that cheap? Don't ever say you liked me again. I don't need a man who's already tainted. Never appear before me again. On the flight home, I had a dream. In it, I was the white moonlight Ethan's song didn't dare to touch. He loved me madly but was too insecure to confess, only able to watch me leave, lacking the courage to hold me back. Afterwards, he met a girl with an uncanny resemblance to me, and he ruthlessly took her for himself, turning her into my substitute. He dominantly poured all his insane obsession onto her. He lusted after her beautiful body, yet despised her for willingly being a substitute, tormenting her relentlessly, time and again. The girl endured misunderstandings, false accusations, losing her child, and beatings, eventually leaving with a body full of scars. Only then did Ethan's song awaken, realizing the one he truly loved was that substitute. He completely changed his attitude and began to resent me, the one he once worshipped as his white moonlight. He blamed me for being manipulative, for being deceitful, for making him misunderstand the substitute. So, he took action, pulling me down from my pedestal, causing my family's ruin, considering it the price to pay to atone to the substitute and gain her forgiveness. Waking up, I fell into deep thought. It's hard to tell who Ethan's song truly liked. Did he have to utterly destroy them, shatter their spirit? Was he insane? The mistakes were others, yet he got the career and the beauty. What right did he have? So, at the welcome back party, I walked straight past him, indifferently taking a seat opposite, completely ignoring his presence. Ethan's song's eyes clearly showed hurt. His lips moved, but in the end, he couldn't utter a single word. Everyone present knew he once liked me, and the atmosphere immediately buzzed with feigned curiosity. Ethan, meeting Jiayu again, still speechless. Jiayu, do you think he's still the same as before? Looks like it, doesn't he? Ethan's song, visibly trying to compose himself, looked up at me, seemingly waiting for what I would say. I rummaged through my memories, trying to understand why he considered me his white moonlight. Was it because I once played the violin at a music festival, a single piece making me famous? Or because I defeated him in a debate competition? Or perhaps because I saved him from drowning when he got a cramp in the pool? If it was truly for such trivial things that he developed feelings for me, seeing me as his white moonlight, then there's only one possibility. Ethan's song admires the strong and has no compassion for the weak. Those stronger than him, he will worship endlessly. Those weaker than him, he will relentlessly trample. If that's true, then all the actions in my dream, from his obsession with me to his torment of the substitute, can be explained. After thinking it through, I smiled faintly, my tone gentle. It's been years. I've even forgotten what Ethan used to be like. Oh, by the way, what has everyone been busy with lately? What are you all doing? I skillfully changed the subject, cheerfully chatting with everyone. Everyone could see that I had no interest in Ethan's song whatsoever. His expectant gaze immediately dimmed. Just then, the room door opened. A girl timidly stood at the threshold, her eyes immediately finding Ethan's song. Her lips moved as if to speak, but no words came out. I glanced at her, momentarily stunned. So this was the substitute? We looked exactly like twin sisters. No wonder I was considered his white moonlight. The girl had naturally wavy hair, not styled, but a gift from heaven. Her dark eyes sparkled like black pearls reflected in clear water. A small nose, slightly pursed lips, looking as if they would be incredibly soft to kiss. I never expected Ethan Song's character to be so poor, but his taste in women was quite good. Someone immediately pulled her in, seating her next to Ethan Song. Ethan Song frowned slightly, instantly putting distance between them as if she were some dangerous virus. The girl's eyes reddened slightly, but she tried to suppress it, forcing a polite smile. Still, the disdainful looks from everyone around were too obvious. She was like a lost lamb among wolves, trying to appear friendly but unable to hide her confusion. The person who pulled her in was Si-Yeon Lee, a girl who had secretly admired Ethan's song for a long time. She smiled faintly, arrogantly swirling the wine in her glass. Lin Zhi, Mr. Song's family treats you so well, even taking you out to broaden your horizons. See, Jiayu, this is a real young lady. But then again, you two really do look alike. Mr. Song, did you perhaps find a substitute based on Jiayu's appearance? Everyone's eyes lit up. One was the real deal, the other a replica. Who was the substitute? It was obvious now. Lin Zhi's face paled, her eyes filled with humiliation. Tears welled up, but she tried to keep her eyes wide open, as if a single blink would send them streaming down. And Ethan Song? A hint of panic flashed in his eyes as he stared at me, seemingly ready to explain and reassure everyone. Everyone laughed heartily. Someone scolded Si-yeon Lee for her careless words. Si-yeon Lee laughed, downing 3 glasses of wine as a self-imposed punishment. I haven't even had a sip yet, and I'm already drunk. The atmosphere became lively again. I slowly picked up a wine glass, my gaze indifferent, then lightly let go. Smash! The crisp sound of breaking glass echoed, shards scattering everywhere. The room instantly fell silent. All eyes turned to me. I looked straight at Ethan Song, my voice cold. Ethan Song, explain what's going on. Ethan Song froze. Perhaps in his entire life, he never expected the first words I'd say to him after returning home would be these. He frowned slightly, his expression sincere as he apologized. Jia Yu, I'll have her leave immediately. With that, he turned to Lin Zhi, his voice cold, ordering, "Get out. You have no right to be here." Lin Zhi's face was ashen, her slender hands clutching her small handbag tightly. Her fingers were so white they seemed translucent, revealing the bones beneath her delicate skin. Clearly, she was seething with indignation, yet she was so submissive she didn't dare utter a single word of protest. What was happening? I wanted him to explain Si-yeon Lee's words, why she dared to openly taunt his girlfriend in front of so many people. Yet Ethan Song immediately discarded Lin Zhi like a worthless object, without hesitation. What was this? An open humiliation? I suspected something was going on between him and Si-yeon Lee, or perhaps his eyes had a problem. It was so obvious. She was openly using others to attack, and he didn't realize it. Seeing Lin Zhi about to leave, I spoke up. Wait, Miss Lin is my guest. No one has the right to chase her away. Ethan Song, explain, what exactly is your relationship with Miss Lin? Why are you trying to kick out my guest? Furthermore, what did Si-yeon Lee mean? Finding a substitute who looks like me. Lin Zhi was stunned. She probably never expected a stranger like me to stand up for her. I must say, her bewildered expression looked quite adorable. I nodded slightly at her, gesturing for her to sit beside me. She hesitated for a moment, then obediently walked over. Ethan Song's face darkened, his eyes swirling like a storm about to break. That pressure must have been terrifying for Lin Zhi. I could clearly feel the tension emanating from her, but for me, it was nothing. I crossed my arms, calmly observing him, watching him remain silent, unable to utter a word. I started to lose my patience. I absolutely hated CEOs who liked to act mysterious and couldn't speak plainly. I coldly shifted my gaze to Si-yeon Lee. You speak. If you don't explain clearly, then the cooperation between our two families can end. Si-yeon Lee immediately jumped up. How can that be? What does it have to do with me? I smirked, a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Oh, right. What does it have to do with you? But at this table, you're the most talkative. Si-yeon Lee immediately fell silent. She secretly glanced at Ethan Song, and seeing that he had no intention of objecting, she shrugged, lazily saying, Isn't it old news? Our CEO Song couldn't get his white Moonlight, so he secretly found a university student to be a substitute. Now the original is back, and he hasn't figured out how to deal with the replacement, that's all. You mean the white Moonlight he talked about is me? Si-yeon Lee remained silent. Ethan Song's dark eyes were fixed on me. Finally, he spoke, uttering just one word. Yes. I laughed, not out of joy, but out of being provoked to the point of laughter. I casually picked up a wine glass from the table and, without hesitation, splashed it straight into his face. Is the Song family bankrupt? You can go on business trips abroad, but you can't visit me. Couldn't afford a plane ticket, or were you too busy to spare a moment? You call me your white Moonlight to my face, but turned around and found a substitute. Is your love that cheap? Never say you liked me again. I don't need such a dirty man. From now on, don't ever appear before me again. The wine dripped down his face, each glistening drop rolling over his sharp features. He had a handsome face. Even in this distressed state, there was a kind of alluring restraint. But his eyes were now dark, bottomless. His cheeks flushed with anger, his hands clenched into fists, as if he was trying his best to control his emotions. So he knew how unpleasant it was to be humiliated, didn't he? Ha, I thought he was born without emotions. The entire private room fell into absolute silence. Everyone present was stunned, their astonished gazes fixed on me. After years abroad, we had all changed. I grabbed Lin Zhi's hand and strode out of the room. Whatever happened behind me, I couldn't care less. I drove Lin Zhi all the way back to her university. As she stepped out of the car, she trembled slightly, unsure if it was from the cold wind or the tension. Perhaps in her life, she had never imagined any woman would dare to throw wine in Ethan Song's face. The whole way, she hadn't fully recovered. I took off my outer coat and gently draped it over her shoulders. Casually, I took her phone, used her finger to unlock it, then added my contact information. I don't know why you agreed to be Ethan Song's substitute, but today I threw wine in his face. He won't dare touch me, but he might vent his anger on you. If he comes looking for trouble, contact me. Lin Zhi bit her lip, looking up at me, her voice so soft it almost melted into the night wind. Jia, why are you helping me? I smiled faintly. You misunderstand. I'm not helping you. If it were any other girl in that situation today, I would do the same. The night wind was biting cold. Without my coat, I immediately got back into the car and drove off. Through the rearview mirror, I could still see Lin Zhi standing there, silently watching me leave, as if trying to etch that moment into her memory. I started my internship at the family company. Honestly, I still found it hard to believe. No matter how capable Ethan Song was, he couldn't easily cause the Zhao family, a conglomerate that had stood firm for decades through economic crises, material shortages, and price wars, to suddenly collapse. Unless the Zhao family itself had problems, with the Song family seizing their weakness and then secretly, step by step, taking over. After joining the company, I concealed my identity, rotating through various departments and meticulously documenting any issues. Then, one afternoon, I publicly revealed my identity as the Zhao family's heiress and decisively dealt with all problems. Those who deserved to be fired were fired, those who deserved promotion were promoted, and those who needed a warning were warned. After stabilizing the company, I finally had free time to catch up on Lin Zhi and Ethan Song. I had already deleted Ethan Song from my contacts. There were no clues on Lin Zhi's social media either. She only occasionally shared articles from public accounts, completely devoid of personal content. Conversely, it was Sion-Li who proactively contacted me. She called, her voice full of schadenfreude. Jia Zhao, have you heard? Ethan Song is getting engaged. He said he couldn't reach you, so he asked me to invite you to his engagement party. I raised an eyebrow slightly. Oh, interesting. To whom? Lin Zhi, who else? If he can't pursue a white moonlight like you, can't he at least use a substitute to pass the time? Her tone annoyed me. I replied coldly, Sion-Li, do you hate Lin Zhi that much? If you can't have him, you have to destroy her. If anyone deserves to be destroyed, it's Ethan Song, not her. This kind of infighting between women is so petty. The other end of the line fell silent for a few seconds, followed by an indignant shout. Damn it, are you crazy, Jia Zhao? We grew up together, years of friendship, and you dare to talk to me like that for a substitute? I rubbed my forehead, feeling a slight headache. After years apart, I suddenly realized our values had completely diverged. I took a deep breath and calmly said, Sion-Li, part of why I left back then was to broaden my horizons abroad, but the other part was because I knew you liked Ethan Song, so I deliberately stayed away. If I truly wanted to compete with you, you wouldn't stand a chance. Ethan Song treating Lin Zhi as a substitute is a manifestation of his incompetence, lack of character, shamelessness, and vulgarity. He carries the mindset of an arrogant capitalist, believing that with money, he can do anything. Such a scumbag, and you like him? Isn't that demeaning yourself? Being noticed by someone like him isn't an honor, but bad luck. If this world truly divided social classes based on money, and those without money didn't deserve dignity, then for those more powerful than you and me, we'd just be toys, nothing more. Such thinking is completely wrong. I remember in college, you were a girl with very good values. I don't know what you've been through to become like this, but I can tell you one thing directly. If you continue like this, there will be no friendship left between us. I finished speaking, not giving Sion-Li a chance to retort, and coldly hung up. Taking a deep breath, I opened my phone and texted Lin Zhi, "Are you getting married soon?" The message box for Lin Zhi showed, typing, but I waited and waited, and in the end she didn't type a single word. Excellent. Now I understood why she was tormented both physically and mentally by Ethan Song. On one side, a cunning CEO adept at shifting blame. On the other, a tight-lipped girl who never bothered to explain anything. To resolve this clearly, dream on. I decisively texted, "Let's meet, I'll wait for you at the school gate." Lin Zhi immediately replied, "Okay." I raised an eyebrow slightly. Passive, used to others arranging everything? Well then, today I would help her arrange things neatly. I drove to pick her up and took her out to eat first. Throughout the meal, she tried to open her mouth to explain several times, but I cut her off each time. "Talk after we finish eating." Lin Zhi immediately nodded obediently, continuing to eat in silence, not uttering another word. After eating, I pulled her along to meet a client. She didn't object, obediently following, automatically playing my temporary secretary, serving tea, pouring water, and fetching documents. After seeing the client off, I then took her to meet my friends. The moment we stepped through the door, her gentle, obedient expression finally cracked, but the one who shattered before her was Sion Li. Sion Li was stunned, as if struck by lightning. "Jia Yu Zhao, what is the meaning of this? You invited me to dinner and you brought her along?" Lin Zhi's face flushed red with embarrassment, and she whispered nervously, "Jia Yu, I'll head back first. I don't want to disturb you too. Your coat, I've had it dry cleaned. I'll leave it in your car, okay? Thank you for taking me out today. I'll be going now." Her time wasn't worth anything. I had dragged her around all day, and not only did she not complain, she even proactively thanked me. Was she so easily bullied? I almost wanted to bully her a little more, just to see. I calmly said, "Since you're already here, let's just hang out. You two seem to have some misunderstandings. Let's clear them up today." Before anyone could react, I casually walked inside first. Sion Li glared at Lin Zhi, whose obedience was so extreme it provoked malice. It was clear that no matter how much she was bullied, she wouldn't dare to fight back. I couldn't help but wonder what kind of environment this girl was raised in to become so easily oppressed. During dinner, Sion Li talked a lot as if she were the main character of the party. But every time she reached for food, I'd spin the turntable. When she reached for a napkin, I'd grab it first. When her glass was empty, I'd raise my glass and clink it with Lin Zhi's. Eventually, Sion Li realized I was deliberately isolating her. She immediately slammed the table, angrily shouting, "Jia Yu Zhao, what do you mean? If you want to cut ties with me, just say it directly." "Why play these games to make me sick?" I smirked faintly. "You're too sensitive. Don't mind these small details, okay? I just spun the table a bit, prevented you from getting a napkin, and didn't clink glasses with you. Don't be so petty." Sion Li was so angry she choked, finally letting out a swear word, then grabbed her handbag and turned to leave. I casually called out, "Wait, before you go, clarify why she agreed to marry Ethan Song." Sure enough, that sentence stopped Sion Li. She sullenly turned back, tossing her handbag onto a chair, her face clearly screaming, "I'm not happy." Now the pressure was all on Lin Zhi. She faced our two intimidating gazes on the verge of tears. I never even considered marrying him. Sion Li erupted as if detonated. "Lin Zhi, are you kidding me? The whole world knows you two are getting engaged, and now you say you never even considered it. Are you showing off to me? You think I wouldn't dare hit you, huh?" Lin Zhi covered her face, tears streaming down, but still managed to stammer. "But he and we never even loved each other." This time, both Sion Li and I were stunned. Never loved each other? I pondered for a moment, then realized her words made a lot of sense. Because for someone like Ethan Song, who always worshipped the strong, he would never stoop to loving someone weak. He could possess, trample, manipulate, but he would absolutely not love. At most, Ethan Song saw Lin Zhi as a pet, an object he could command, dominate, control, even spoil, but definitely not a true lover. Because he would never give her the things a lover needs: respect, understanding, support, and trust. I handed her a tissue and said, "Go on, what exactly happened?" Lin Zhi hesitated, seemingly unsure where to start. I asked directly, one question at a time. She just needed to answer. "How did you two meet?" Lin Zhi blushed. "His company came to my school to hold a recruitment fair. I was in charge of welcoming them." Sion Li immediately interjected, angrily sarcastic. "So you shamelessly asked for his contact information?" Lin Zhi quickly shook her head, nervously refuting, "No, he asked for mine, but I didn't give it to him." Sion Li sneered. "Easy to say, but didn't you end up adding each other?" Lin Zhi bit her lip, hesitated for a moment, then whispered, "I was being harassed by someone and he helped me out." "Oh, a hero saving a damsel in distress?" Sion Li pouted, her tone full of sourness. "This plot really is a bit cliched." I recalled my dream, where Ethan Song had ruthlessly snatched Lin Zhi for himself. So now I highly suspected that the hero-saving damsel act was actually a play orchestrated by him. I turned to Seon Lee, raising an eyebrow. Ethan Song used to like me too, so why weren't you this jealous back then? But when it comes to Lin Zhi, why are you so upset? Seon Lee flared up. How can she compare to you? If I lost to you, I'd accept it wholeheartedly. But what is asterisk she? Besides looking a bit like you, what else is there to compare to you? I also got angry. You know I'm excellent. I also know I'm excellent. For someone as outstanding as me, in what way does trash like Ethan Song deserve me? I don't allow you to use a scumbag like him to insult me. Seon Lee was a bit bewildered. What's wrong with Ethan Song? Among the people I know, he's the most outstanding man. He managed an entire company right after graduation, has good looks and capability. Why wouldn't he be worthy of you? I immediately retorted, my voice clear and ringing. He claimed to like me, everyone knows, but I didn't know anything. He never did anything to pursue me, never confessed, never gave me gifts on any occasion. In the 3 years I was abroad, he never came to see me even once. He only boasted but never acted, which made everyone think I was the one who didn't reciprocate, turning me into a heartless person. Now, everywhere I go, I'm looked at as if I've wronged him, but what exactly did I do wrong? He slandered my reputation, and then found an identical substitute to disgust me. At my welcome back party, he intentionally brought Lin Zhi, then treated her like a toy, casually ordering her around. What was that? Couldn't control me, so he turned to a substitute to feel a sense of conquest. A hypocrite, morally corrupt, and with such a terrible character, what right does he have to like me? What right does he have to your affection? Being liked by him is the greatest humiliation of my life. I paused for a moment, then sneered and continued. As for his so-called talent, the company was left by his parents, and the talent within the company was also nurtured by them. He's just a lucky heir who took over at the right time and made money. That's luck, not ability. If that company were entrusted to you, you could also make money. You can't do it not because you lack ability, but because your parents favor sons over daughters, only seeing you as a pawn to be married off for an alliance. That doesn't mean you're useless. Seon Lee was completely speechless from my scolding. She was stunned, vaguely mumbling, I didn't know it was like that. I thought he did a lot for you. Did what exactly? Besides his mouth, what has that scumbag Ethan Song ever given? I had scolded myself thirsty, so I took a sip of tea, then shifted the pressure back to Lin Zhi. It's your turn. What has Ethan Song done for you? Has he ever confessed his feelings to you? Has he ever officially confirmed your relationship? Has he ever introduced you to his parents? Has he ever introduced you to his friends? Has he ever made your relationship public? Has he ever given you a gift to express his feelings? I asked a question, and she answered. No, no, no. Time and again, all the answers were no. Finally, even she felt ashamed, her eyes red like a rabbit's, and she covered her face and burst into tears. Seon Lee yelled angrily, he did nothing, and you casually agreed to marry him? Are you sick? Lin Zhi was so startled that tears poured down like rain, and she sobbed, my father was hospitalized. He helped me advance 100,000 for the hospital fees. Another layer of melodrama. The three of us stared at each other, the atmosphere falling silent. Finally, Seon Lee slammed her handbag onto the table, grinding her teeth. 100,000 is less than one of my bags, and you're selling your whole life to him for that. How can you be so cowardly, huh? She pulled out her phone, her voice sharp. I'll transfer you 100,000. Go slap him in the face right now. Lin Zhi cried even harder, choking out, I don't dare, wah. Under our pressure, Lin Zhi finally recounted everything that happened between her and Ethan Song. It turned out that 100,000 indeed bought her. She carried the thought of repaying a kindness, while Ethan Song truly only saw her as a maid, a nanny, even a bed warmer. When she didn't have classes, she had to go to his house to clean, serve tea, cook, and wash dishes. While she was in a lecture, he would call, demanding why the house wasn't cleaned, making her skip class to go home and cook for him. Once, when he was drunk, he forced her onto the sofa, and she hazily lost her virginity. The next morning, he coldly looked at her, leaving only a warning, don't let anyone know about our relationship. But then he was the one who called her to dinner with his friends. They offered her drinks, and she didn't dare refuse. When she was drunk, Ethan Song coldly asked, do you drink every time someone offers you a toast? After that, he tormented her all night. She was once pregnant, but he didn't want to keep it. He coldly questioned, don't you know how to avoid pregnancy? Now, the engagement was his idea, and he simply informed her. Seon Lee was so angry her head ached. She gritted her teeth. You just let him torment you like that. What about your parents? Did they agree? Didn't they manage this? Lin Zhi smiled bitterly, her eyes red. My father said we must know how to repay kindness. If we accepted his money, we must obey him. We can't let people think we are ungrateful. Lin Zhi looked very confused, as if she didn't feel her father's words were wrong, but couldn't articulate why. Seon Lee was speechless by this story, while I felt I had gained quite a bit today. At least Seon Lee was starting to feel some empathy for Lin Zhi. I patted her shoulder gently, a faint smile on my lips. Her father and your father are the same. Both see marrying off their daughters as a kind of business. The two of them simultaneously turned their heads to look at me. Seon Lee looked at me with murder in her eyes, while Lin Zhi looked at me with a mixture of confusion and hurt. I didn't bother with their reactions, just calmly looked straight at Lin Zhi and continued to open a new topic. I took you out all day today. How do you feel? Lin Zhi was startled. Perhaps she didn't expect that after a whole day of following me, she'd have to summarize her experience. She looked at me gratefully, sincerely saying, Jia Yu, thank you for taking me out and broadening my horizons. I've never seen these things before. From one perspective, this wasn't wrong. A Cinderella suddenly pulled into the world of the wealthy would naturally feel enlightened and see new things. But that was just the surface. On a deeper level, it wasn't that simple. I smiled faintly. But what good does this do you? You had classes today, didn't you? How many classes have you skipped? Did your professors call your name? You've skipped school many times for Ethan's song before. Now you're still skipping classes. Are you sure you'll have enough credits to graduate? I spoke slowly, each word like a knife-piercing reality. You trade your studies for a meal with me and work for me for free all day. In the end, you even thank me. For me, there's no loss, but what do you gain? The things I showed you today, if you have enough ability later, you can witness them yourself. I just helped you see a few years ahead. But if you sacrifice your entire future just to see ahead, then perhaps you'll never get to witness them again in your life. I looked at her, slowly adding, furthermore, I took you out to eat. You clearly don't like European food, but you didn't say anything. Do you think silently enduring will make me appreciate and cherish you? No. I'll just think you're very easy to bully, and next time I'll continue to bully you. Because doing so incurs no loss for me, and you even thank me for it. What reason do I have not to continue bullying you? In this circle, I'm already considered a moral person with sound values. I have these thoughts, but I know how to control myself. But if you encounter someone who doesn't know how to control themselves later, you'll understand what your fate will be. You'll be devoured completely, trampled until there's nothing left. And yet, the other person can still shift all the blame onto you, making you feel that it's all your own fault. I paused for a moment, then continued. Today, I met a client to negotiate a contract. If that contract is signed, I could earn several million. But what about you? You stood there all day, serving tea, fetching documents, smiling at clients, even standing until your feet ached. But in the end, not a single penny fell into your pocket. You might feel that you learned a lot today, that your horizons were broadened, but don't you see? The service staff at the entrance also have the opportunity to see these things every day. But does that change their lives? If you don't know how to invest your time and energy into things that can enhance your self-worth, you'll be stuck in this position your whole life. I looked at her, my eyes sharper than ever. And also, when you met Seon Lee, you clearly didn't like it, but you didn't dare refuse. Just meeting someone a little stronger than you, you immediately let yourself be manipulated. I lowered my voice, but each word carried weight. Think about it. Seon Lee and I are just acquaintances. We didn't force you, didn't threaten you. Just a little stare, and you spilled all the details of your relationship with Ethan's song. Don't you think that's too dangerous? You're as docile as a rabbit, and Seon Lee and I are, at most, large herbivores. We don't harm you, but Ethan's song is different. He's a carnivorous wolf. He'll devour you, chew you to bits, and even despise you for having too little meat to fill his teeth. I continued coldly. With your ability to withstand pressure, how dare you accept the engagement with Ethan's song? Do you know what his family is like? Do you know what kind of people his family members are? Do you know that no matter how hard you try, they will never accept you? No, in my dream, wasn't it exactly like that? She was obedient, submissive, dedicated like a fairy tale maiden, but in the end, her fate was exactly like Wang Beiachuan's. She gave everything, was drained to the core, and the one who benefited and eventually gained the title of a devoted lover was none other than Ethan's song. At the mention of the Song family, Seon Lee immediately became excited, interjecting, "Let me tell you, Ethan Song's mother is extremely materialistic and vain. Back in high school, the Song family invited us to his birthday party. Only 2 people in the class didn't receive invitations. One was from a recently bankrupt family, and the other was a poor student admitted on a special scholarship. Furthermore, he has an older sister who was forced into marriage with a wealthy family for an alliance. Her husband abuses her, but his parents would rather die than let their daughter divorce, simply because that family has more money than theirs." Seon Lee pouted, but then looked straight at Lin Zhi, emphasizing each word. "Think about it, you're all alone, with nothing. If you truly marry into the Song family, do you know what you'll become? You'll be promoted from Ethan Song's personal nanny to the Song family's nanny. They don't even have compassion for their own daughter. Do you think they'll pity a daughter-in-law from a poor family?" Seon Lee triumphantly watched Lin Zhi's pale face, but I just looked at Seon Lee as if she were an idiot. Seon Lee's smile faltered. She suddenly clutched her head, lamenting, "With a trashy family like that, not even a dog would want to step in. Why was I so stupid as to like Ethan Song?" I shrugged, my tone nonchalant. "You can't be entirely blamed. You liked not his real self, but the image you imagined of him. He had money, good looks, charisma, and was even pitiable because he couldn't get his white moonlight, stimulating your maternal instincts. But in reality, Ethan Song doesn't deserve that expectation. He's selfish, cold, contemptuous, and oppressive towards the weak. He sees women as tools, trampling on their self-esteem to elevate his so-called masculine pride." I paused for a moment, then casually threw out a question. "Do you know what this is called?" Seon Lee and Lin Zhi asked in unison. "What?" I smirked. "A philanderer's misogyny." This statement silenced both of them completely. I continued to shift my gaze to Lin Zhi, gently asking, "Do you know why Ethan Song clearly liked me but never pursued me?" Lin Zhi stammered, "Why?" I looked straight into her eyes, seriously replying, "Because I have money, good looks, charisma. My parents see me as the family heir. No matter what happens to me, they will protect me with all their might, even if it means sacrificing our entire fortune. Frankly speaking, I'm stronger than him. He can't find a sense of superiority when he's with me, nor can he use me to reinforce his so-called male ego. That's why he sought you out. Because you're poor, you're weak, you're easy to bully. You don't have a family to protect you. Your parents are even willing to put you in his bed to curry favor." I looked at her, my tone deepening. "You see, Lin Zhi, the core of the problem is that you are too weak. In this world, you have no fallback. You're careless with yourself, have no goals, no plans, never think about making yourself stronger to protect yourself. If he doesn't bully you, who will? Even I, a person with upright values and strong morals, sometimes feel like bullying you a little. What kind of person is he? He's like a cat that smells fish. If he doesn't play with you until you're completely dead, he won't stop. In my dream, Lin Zhi died, and then Ethan Song began to regret it. Then he tried every way to destroy me. He stood at the pinnacle, alone but glorious. How could there be such a good thing? He enjoys everything while playing the victim? No way. I don't just want to break his rice bowl, I want to overturn his entire banquet table. He won't live in peace." Lin Zhi left dazedly, looking like a lost soul. After seeing her off, Seon Lee and I continued to stroll for a while. Seon Lee was gloomy for a bit, then finally apologized. "I'm sorry. I really didn't expect Ethan Song to be such a scumbag. I must have been blind to have liked a man like that. It's a lifelong humiliation." I crossed my arms, calmly replying, "Then post an apology on your social media." Seon Lee's eyes immediately widened. "Jia Yuzhao, don't be so excessive." I raised an eyebrow, my tone nonchalant. "Then never mind. Anyway, you all already ruined my reputation in this circle. Everyone thinks I'm so heartless I can't even hold a single relationship from childhood. Consider it my bad luck. Who told me I had a friend like you?" All right, don't say any more. Seon Lee gritted her teeth, took out her phone, and immediately posted, "Today, I officially apologize to Jia Yuzhao. I shouldn't have misunderstood her about this. I sincerely apologize and hope she forgives me, and I also wish her prosperity and good luck, smooth sailing for life." Seon Lee typed while gritting her teeth, then immediately pressed post. The content of the post was as follows. "Also, I want to apologize to myself. Apologize for being blindly in love with someone unworthy. That is the greatest humiliation of my life. Finally, I want to strongly condemn some people who constantly babble about someone being their white moonlight. making us think they are so devoted. But in reality, they never confessed, never seriously pursued, didn't even spend money on a plane ticket abroad. Yet they made the whole world believe they loved that person deeply. On one hand, they act affectionate, on the other, they are casually promiscuous, not only finding a substitute, but also tormenting her. 100,000 to buy someone's entire life? What a joke. If 100,000 is really worth that much, then sell this scumbag to me. I'll make him lick my shoes. Would he do it? Such a disgusting person doesn't deserve to be in my contact list. I've deleted him. Those who know who I'm talking about. Those who don't, please let someone who knows tell you a bit. Don't let this filthy person continue to cause trouble outside. Luckily, I finally cured my blindness. Thank you, Miss Zhao, for awakening me. After posting, Si-yeon Lee tilted her chin, huffing coldly. Is this enough? Anything else you want to add? I leaned back in my chair lazily, smirking. Perfect. Very enlightened. Tusk. I looked at the post, couldn't help but laugh. Every sentence was like a knife plunged directly into the heart. Truly worthy of being the arrogant princess of the upper class. I immediately liked it. Our mutual friends also expressed their approval with a flurry of likes and comments. Many people even specifically messaged me privately asking if it was true. I didn't mind the trouble, replying true to each message. Another explosion of discussion. Everyone was surprised, saying they had never thought of this. All this time, they thought Ethan Song had really done a lot for me. Who knew it was all just his own fabrication? So, I had been wrongly slandered all this time. I smirked, sending a series of messages to the group chat. If Ethan Song had dared to confess back then, I could have frankly rejected him. But he said nothing, yet made everyone misunderstand that I was stringing him along, making me bear the name of a heartless person. As if that wasn't disgusting enough, he intentionally brought Lin Zhi to my welcome home party and treated her like a servant, just to make me uncomfortable. Did he think I would be jealous and fight with Lin Zhi over him? Or did he think I would be happy to see a girl with a face identical to mine being trampled by him? A man who despises women like that, even dogs wouldn't want him. He doesn't deserve to like me. Immediately, Ethan Song's reputation collapsed within our circle. The more devoted he had appeared before, the more despicable he now seemed in retrospect. Very soon after, someone called me. It was a friend of Ethan Song's. Jia Yu, you don't have to go this far, do you? After all, we've been friends for years. Even if he was wrong, it was because he liked you. You don't have to ruin him so badly, just letting him apologize would be enough. He's getting engaged anyway, which means he's given up on you. We'll still have to see each other at important events in the future. It's better to show a little respect, isn't it? He liked me, so he slandered my reputation. He liked Lin Zhi, so he humiliated her. What kind of love is this, so cruel? I cleared my throat slightly, calmly but clearly emphasizing each word. Please tell Ethan Song that this ends here. From now on, consider us strangers. If he still wants to cause trouble, I'm not easy to bully. Just try it. Ethan Song finally didn't dare to cause any more trouble. I heard that to salvage his reputation, he offered 30 million as a dowry, publicly announcing the news, as if to prove he was still a man of integrity and affection. However, Lin Zhi proactively called off the engagement. She borrowed 100,000 from me to repay the money Ethan Song had advanced for her earlier, then blocked all contact with him, deciding to stay in the dorm and focus on her studies. But her father was unwilling. He couldn't bear to give up a future son-in-law like Ethan Song, scolding her for not knowing how to enjoy good fortune, saying she was destined for a poor life, ungrateful for her blessings. He personally went to the school, forcing her to drop out and get married. Lin Zhi went mad. She held a knife directly to her face, resisting her father for the first time in her life. Her voice hoarse with rage, she screamed, "Do you know what Ethan Song sees me as? A substitute. Only because this face resembles someone else did he help me. Without this face, I'm nothing. You want to marry me off to him so badly? Then go get plastic surgery. Make yourself look like me, and he'll laugh at you. And if you dare to force me again, I'll slash this face, then borrow 10 million in high-interest loans. I'll make sure you never enjoy any good fortune from me for the rest of your life, only suffer alongside me." The school panicked, immediately forcing Lin Zhi's father to leave, and then took turns trying to persuade her, fearing she might do something drastic. They made it very clear that this was a society governed by law. No one had the right to force a woman to marry against her will. If necessary, the school could provide legal support. Lin Zhi decisively accepted. She decided to sue Ethan Song for money. I was his free nanny for 3 years, serving him wholeheartedly, and he didn't pay me a single cent. I lost big time. Thus, the legal battle between the substitute girl and the young master of the Song family officially began. Hearing this news, I was overjoyed. Sion Lee also laughed herself to death. You wouldn't believe it. The last time I went to a party, I coincidentally saw Ethan Song arguing with his mother. The moment he saw me, his face turned as black as thunder, and his mother came running over, fawning all over me, asking when I had time to visit their house. She pouted, her tone full of contempt. Before, how arrogant she was, always thought her son was the best in the world, no one could catch her eye. Now what? Her son's reputation is rotten, no one wants anything to do with him, so she's scrambling to flatter me. Do I look like a trash can? Anything dirty, they want to throw at me. Actually, Ethan Song's mother had also called me, but not to reconcile, but to slander and attack me. I recorded the entire call, then had someone send the recording directly to Ethan Song. Since then, he hasn't dared to bother me again. What's even more interesting is that the friend I asked to deliver the message, after listening to the recording, also cut ties with Ethan Song. As the saying goes, what goes around comes around. Sion Lee tossed her hair triumphantly, laughing brightly. Her son is now completely ruined in her hands. From now on, trying to get married, it'll be hard to find a match in the upper class. Was I a little mean? Why did I find this so amusing? I patted her shoulder, raising an eyebrow. Don't waste mental energy. If you want to laugh, just laugh. Laughing a lot brings good fortune. Sion Lee burst out laughing, then suddenly hugged me tightly, her eyes sparkling. Jiayu Zhao, why didn't I realize it before? You'd be a great fortune teller, blaming everything on heaven, on earth, on others, but never taking responsibility for yourself. I like you more and more. Lin Zhi also liked me. She won her lawsuit against Ethan Song, recovering nearly 300,000 in wages. She repaid me the 100,000 and even bought me gifts. We arranged to meet at a coffee shop. Lin Zhi looked radiant, radiating a strong vitality, completely different from her timid, fearful self of a few months ago. Sure enough, the further Lin Zhi got from Ethan Song, even confronting him, the more vibrant her spirit became. And so did mine. My career was flourishing. My parents were even considering early retirement to hand over the company to me. Lin Zhi chuckled. I never dared to dream I could recover nearly 300,000 in wages. Before, I always underestimated myself, thinking 100,000 was an astronomical sum, a debt I couldn't repay. But it turns out I could earn 300,000 myself. I used to think my endurance and servitude were acts of repayment, but in reality, he never saw me as a person. Instead, he only saw me as a convenient tool. The funniest part is when I selflessly gave, he looked down on me, but when I opened my mouth to demand what I deserved, he spoke softly, asking me not to make a fuss. She sighed softly, her voice deepening. The true nature of human beings is truly terrifying. She talked a lot, and I listened intently, then raised my coffee cup and smiled. Congratulations on getting through your difficult 20s. From now on, everything will be smoother. Lin Zhi solemnly raised her cup with both hands, toasting me. Jiayu, thank you. You are the benefactor of my life. If I hadn't met you, I would surely have had a tragic end. My parents didn't love me, yet I kept clinging to the love of others, hoping to find my self-worth through that. But it turns out, doing so is like placing yourself on someone else's blade and naively begging them not to strike too fast. Truly pathetic. She took a deep breath, her eyes bright as if she had just woken up. Thankfully, you awakened me. From now on, I also want to follow your example, to become an independent, self-reliant person who loves herself. I took a sip of coffee and asked her, do you have any plans for the future? Lin Zhi said she was about to graduate and was currently looking for an internship. I raised an eyebrow. Then come work for me, be my secretary. She was overjoyed, her eyes shining as if she had found gold. Jiayu, can I do it well? I didn't answer, just smiled cryptically. Lin Zhi startled, quickly reacting. Jiayu, I will definitely do well. If there's anything I'm not good at, please guide me, and I'll learn immediately. I assigned her to my subordinates for training. After all, if this story had a female protagonist, Lin Zhi must have extraordinary abilities. Keeping her by my side would certainly not be a loss. Indeed, she didn't disappoint me. Lin Zhi had quick thinking and good abilities, and she learned very fast. Before long, she officially became a member of my secretarial team, even the most outstanding one. With her assistance, my work progressed much more smoothly. Conversely, things were not going well for Ethan Song. I heard that Than Nha Song, Ethan Song's older sister, was preparing for divorce. Her in-laws started causing trouble for the Song family, throwing his family into disarray. But his parents sided with their son-in-law, strongly urging his sister to give up on the divorce for the sake of her child, causing fierce arguments within the family. I met Ethan Song again at a business conference. He looked much more gaunt than before. Our eyes met for a second, then both of us looked away, acting as if we were strangers. After the conference, he stopped me. "We have some misunderstandings. I want to talk to you." Lin Zhi immediately stepped in front of me, calmly saying, her tone polite but cold, "Mr. Song, if you wish to meet Ms. Zhao, please schedule an appointment in advance." Ethan Song was stunned. He blinked, looking closely at Lin Zhi, clearly shocked. The current Lin Zhi was completely different from before. Now she was confident, sharp, radiating in her own way. Even standing beside me, no one would mistake her for a substitute anymore. She continued, her voice steady and unwavering, "That's right, Mr. Song. If you wish to meet Ms. Zhao, you need to schedule an appointment. If Ms. Zhao has time, you will be granted a meeting." Ethan Song froze, his face darkening. He was clearly unaccustomed to this attitude, but he didn't bother to reply to Lin Zhi, only looking at me and coldly saying, "I won't take up much of your time." He still looked down on Lin Zhi. After all, in his eyes, she was once an obedient toy. He couldn't accept that a toy he had once tormented could now be on equal footing with him, but I didn't indulge him. I replied nonchalantly, "Schedule an appointment with Secretary Lin." After saying that, I turned and walked away without a trace of lingering emotion. Ethan Song was furious. He gritted his teeth and shouted loudly after me, "Jia Yu Zhao, I only made one mistake. Do you have to hold such a grudge? See, it's harder to wake someone who's pretending to be asleep than someone who's actually asleep. He thinks he only made one mistake? No, he was wrong from beginning to end, wrong in his very nature. He just wanted to provoke me, wanted me to turn around and retort immediately, but he was overthinking it." I treated him like air, calmly walking away, not even bothering to look back. Completely ignored, he had to resort to talking to Lin Zhi, but Lin Zhi paid no attention to him. She checked her watch, grabbed her documents, and quickly followed me. As she walked, she casually made a phone call, her voice fluent and professional. "Ms. Zhao has just finished work. Have the car come to pick her up. Yes, the schedule for the rest of the day is very tight. Try not to be late." Not a single word for Ethan Song, as if he had never existed. Ethan Song stormed off in a fit of rage. In the car, Lin Zhi suddenly burst out laughing. "Jia Yu, he was so mad he looked really funny. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but I couldn't help it." I also smirked. "Go ahead and laugh. Holding back laughter makes it easy to choke, and that affects your inner peace." We laughed until tears streamed down our faces. But the strange thing was, that day, everything went incredibly smoothly. My contract was signed without a hitch. Looking back later, I suddenly realized he must have known I had an important negotiation and deliberately showed up to influence it, but unexpectedly, he accidentally gave me a hand. I couldn't help but smirk. "Thanks, you." A month later, I didn't see Ethan Song again, but I did meet his older sister, Than Nha Song. She came to find me, head covered with a scarf, wearing sunglasses, more discreetly shielded than a celebrity. At first, I intended to refuse to meet anyone from the Song family, but as soon as she took off her sunglasses, I couldn't say no. Her eyes were bruised, dark-rimmed, filled with despair and numbness, like someone completely dead inside. I knew if I refused her right then, I might become the last straw that pushed her to her death. I nodded, inviting her in. Lin Zhi brought tea, but when she saw Than Nha, and Than Nha removed her scarf and mask, both of us were stunned. Her body was covered in injuries. She smiled self-deprecatingly. "I know coming to you like this is cowardly, but I truly have no other way out. My daughter is only 3. For her sake, I can only be cowardly this one time." I pushed the glass of water towards her, my tone still calm but with concern. "Drink some water, then slowly tell me." She gripped the glass tightly, tears welling up in her eyes. "Please help me persuade Ethan Song. Tell him to convince my parents to agree to my divorce. My husband won't let me have custody of Nini. Even if I leave with nothing, he won't give me the child. Unless my parents side with me and help me fight for custody. But now they've accepted money from Ethan Song to keep the company afloat, so they're completely on his side. Ninny has no chance of survival in that house. I looked at her, anger rising in my heart. It was the Song family again. From beginning to end, all they knew was to exploit women. I clenched my fists, my eyes sharp, my voice deepening. If that's the case, do you want to take back everything? I knew a little about the Song family. Than Nha Song being abused was no secret. But because the Song family benefited, no one in the family stood up to protect her. At most, they would tell her husband not to hit her face to save face. Now that she wanted a divorce, the other side had probably lost all patience, even hitting her directly in the face so the Song family couldn't pretend ignorance. How ridiculous. The Song family endured everything for money. After all, they weren't the ones being hit. What did they lose? But in my dream, Than Nha Song never divorced. She remained the esteemed young mistress of a wealthy family, appearing glamorous on the outside, but actually a daughter-in-law trampled every day, kneeling to wash her mother-in-law's feet. I took a sip of tea, calmly asking, "Why do you want a divorce?" She was slightly startled, looking a bit confused, just like Lin Zhi used to be. After a moment, she whispered, "I suddenly want to change. I feel I shouldn't continue living like this. I'm the one losing in this marriage, but the ones benefiting are my parents and Ethan Song. There's nothing in this world so unfair." Excellent. Just for that sentence, I decided to help her. I raised an eyebrow, smirking. "But why do you think Ethan Song will listen to me? You know, we're practically sworn enemies now. If he knows I'm helping you, he might even try to make things harder for you." Than Nha Song hesitated for a moment, then slowly said, "He has a diary. Everything in it is about you. I think he'll listen to your words. If he doesn't, I'll figure out another way." I was silent for a few seconds, then smiled softly. "All right, then let's see. But I won't actively go to see Ethan Song. Doing that would make me lose face, and he would only become more arrogant." I found out that he would be attending an evening party, so I also showed up and deliberately arranged for someone to seat me at the table next to him. He could see me laughing and chatting happily with others, but he couldn't touch me. He would surely go crazy. Indeed, when the party ended, he stopped me again. This time, he was a bit smarter. He had his secretary distract Lin Zhi so I wouldn't have any support. I secretly sneered. He really understood how to forcibly take things. I just wondered if he had studied criminal law. I glanced at Lin Zhi, nodding slightly, signaling her not to act rashly. Then, I calmly found a quiet corner and sat down, looking at him, my tone nonchalant. "What do you want?" Ethan Song finally regained a bit of the upper hand, his tone cold. "It's truly difficult to meet you even once." I leaned back in my chair, calmly replying, "I already said if you want to see me, schedule an appointment with my secretary. It's Mr. Song who refuses to humble himself. That's your problem." Ethan Song clenched his fingers, his eyes darkening. "What exactly did I do to offend you? Besides the welcome party incident and my mother's call, what else did I do wrong to you? Don't you think what you're doing to me is too much?" I involuntarily smiled, but that smile was full of contempt. I tilted my head, looking at him, my tone mocking. "You really don't know, or are you pretending not to know?" I looked at him, my faint smile fading, leaving only bitter sarcasm. "Ethan Song, do you truly not know where you went wrong, or are you pretending to be innocent?" He was a bit flustered but still tried to keep his voice steady. "I heard you said I looked down on the weak and despised women. I admit I might be a little like that, but I don't think it's a serious mistake. Many people have that mindset. You can't just slander me like that because of it." "Oh," I sneered. I felt it was necessary to give him a lesson. I crossed my arms and looked straight at him, my voice sharp. "So, I ask you, you liked me, but only the world knew, while I knew nothing. At my welcome home party, everyone looked at me as if I was deliberately seducing you, enjoying your pursuit but refusing to reciprocate. I ask you, who caused this misunderstanding? Was it you, or was it me?" Ethan Song's face paled, but he still tried to defend himself. "I never told them to think that way. They just speculated on their own." I scoffed, my eyes as cold as ice. "Then why didn't I speculate on my own? You never dared to express yourself in front of me, always hiding your emotions, acting as if nothing was happening. But in front of our mutual friends, you completely let go, like opening a floodgate, making everyone believe you were deeply heartbroken. Wasn't it you who deliberately led them on, making everyone misunderstand that you loved deeply and I was the heartless ingrate?" Ethan Song clenched his fists, veins popping out. He stammered an apology, "But I didn't mean that." I scoffed. You didn't think that, but you did that. This time, I decided to vent all the grievances that had accumulated for a long time. Ethan Song's face became extremely ugly. He took a deep breath, coldly saying, "All right, if you've brought it up, then just tell me directly. What else have I done wrong?" I didn't hold back, directly asking, "What about the substitute? Why did you find a girl exactly like me? Why did you treat her like a servant? Couldn't you pull me down from my pedestal, so you found a substitute to torment? Was it her you tormented, or was it me? Ethan Song, you disgust me." I looked at him, my eyes cold as ice, unable to hide my deep loathing. Ethan Song's face turned ashen, his lips also becoming white. He opened his mouth, his voice hoarse. "I wouldn't do such things to you. You're not like other people to me." I burst out laughing, a laugh full of mockery and contempt. "You haven't done it not because you don't want to, but because you haven't had the opportunity. I am the heiress of the Zhao family. I have money, beauty, ability, and support. But if one day I fall on hard times and come to you for help, I'm sure you won't only not help me, but you'll trample me underfoot, tormenting me the way you did Lin Zhi. What you men like most is pulling decent women into the mud, then advising prostitutes to become virtuous. You can't stand to see anything more beautiful than yourselves, so you can only destroy it, turn it into something you can casually trample. This is the ingrained, rotten nature in your blood." I moved closer to him, my voice as sharp as a knife. "Do you dare to say you never felt pleasure while tormenting Lin Zhi? Do you dare to admit it?" Ethan Song suddenly fell silent. He stood there dumbfounded, not saying a word. Clearly, he was questioning his conscience. I wasn't in a hurry, just silently watching him, waiting. After a long while, a hint of struggle appeared in his eyes. "No matter what you think, I genuinely liked you. I also wanted to do something for you, but I felt I wasn't worthy. That's why I didn't act." I looked at him and chuckled lightly. "So you chose to like me this way. Not daring to pursue me, so you created a substitute and tormented her to compensate for your own desires. Your way of loving is truly nauseating." I laughed scornfully. "How despicable. Towards women stronger than him, he worships them like goddesses, admires and flatters them. Towards women weaker than him, he treats them as filth, trampling them as he pleases. He says he didn't act because he felt unworthy? Ridiculous. He didn't dare pursue me not because he didn't want to, but because pursuing me would cost him half of the Song family's fortune, and he might not even earn a glance from me. But Lin Zhi, all it took was 100,000. He didn't need to put in affection, didn't need to spend time, didn't need to exert effort, yet he still gained immense emotional satisfaction. He's very shrewd in this matter, but I don't want to waste time arguing with him about this. I need to take the initiative and pull him into the topic I want to discuss. I crossed my arms, my eyes sharp. "All right, let's assume you truly liked me. Then I ask you, with a family like yours, what right do you have to dream of me?" Ethan Song froze, then frowned. "What's wrong with my family?" He still protected his parents very carefully. Hearing me touch on his family, he immediately lost his patience. But I just sneered, my eyes full of sarcasm. Immediately, his face went cold, unable to retort. I said indifferently, "I heard your sister's divorce case has been dragging on. The Song family has millions, can't they afford a divorce? Or is it because you haven't sucked enough blood from your sister yet, so now you want to bleed her dry? What nonsense are you talking about? My sister and her husband still have feelings for each other." Ethan Song shouted angrily. Slap. I slapped him directly across the face without hesitation, without holding back. "How does that feel?" I slowly asked, my eyes sharp. Ethan Song was stunned, then his eyes darkened, his face clearly showing anger. "Do you like me?" I smiled faintly, full of sarcasm. He remained silent, neither refuting nor denying. I continued, my voice as sharp as a knife. "Ethan Song, your feelings for me are so fake. I just slapped you once and you no longer have feelings for me. Your sister has been abused how many times, yet you still believe they have feelings? Or are all of you in the Song family inherently cowardly? No matter how much you're beaten, you still think you have feelings for the one who hits you? If so, then you probably don't hate me either, do you? So let me try another slap." I raised my hand, intending to deliver another slap, but this time he grabbed my wrist, his eyes angry. "Jia Yuzhao, don't go too far." I smirked, not afraid at all, not struggling, just silently looking at him, my gaze cold, my voice steady and sarcastic. "Admit it, Ethan Song, you are a blood-sucking leech clinging to your sister. The Song family is a family that sells its daughters for resources. As long as there's money, it doesn't matter how much your family members are beat. A family willing to sell its self-respect for money, yet still tries to act high and mighty as if they are truly a prestigious noble family? I tell you, In the upper class, your family has been a laughingstock for a long time. After saying that, I pulled my hand free, stood up and walked away, my steps calm and proud. Lin Zhi followed me. After we had been out for a long time, I inadvertently looked back and saw him still sitting there, his hand raking through his hair, his face heavy, his eyes filled with thoughts. It seemed he was truly shaken. A month later, Than Nha Song officially succeeded in her divorce and gained custody of Nini. She immediately completed the emigration procedures, deciding never to return. Before boarding the plane, she sent me a very long message expressing her gratitude. I'm very sorry I couldn't thank you in person. They are all watching me now. Being too close to you might have a bad influence on you, but I am truly grateful to you. You are the savior of my daughter and me. Perhaps you don't know, but that day, if you hadn't helped me, I had planned to jump off a building with Nini. I looked at the message, gently tightening my grip on my phone, taking a deep breath. You gave me the courage to keep living. You asked me why I didn't want to live anymore. I think it's probably because I saw you helped Lin Zhi win her lawsuit. I smiled, a soft but warm smile from the bottom of my heart. I had saved one more person, and above all, another woman had escaped hell. I stared at my phone screen, each line of the message like a gentle breeze across my heart. During that time, my parents cursed you every day, but I felt incredibly excited. I thought that finally I had found someone who could suppress them. I believed that if you could help Lin Zhi, you would surely help me too, and I was right. Jia Yu Zhao, thank you. You made me realize that I have to stand up, not just for myself, but also for Nini. You are my role model. I also want to become a role model for my daughter to follow. I will leave here and will never come back. This phone number will also be canceled, but I will always tell Nini about what you did for us. Also, I hired someone to give Ethan's song a beating, considering it my way of helping myself, helping Lin Zhi, and helping you vent your anger. Goodbye, Jia Yu Zhao. I wish you eternal happiness. May we both have a good future. I put down my phone and looked out the window, feeling incredibly at ease. Imagining Ethan's song being beaten to the point of indignant helplessness, I smiled even brighter. But more importantly, Than Nha had successfully divorced, and her ex-husband had also withdrawn his capital from the Song family. The Song family began to decline. This was only the beginning. I deserved this outcome. A year later, Lin Zhi and I attended Sion Li's wedding. She married her childhood sweetheart. Both of them, on their wedding day, smiled radiantly, supremely happy. At the wedding reception, I saw Ethan's song. I raised an eyebrow, turning to ask Sion Li, "Didn't you cut ties with Ethan's song? Why did you invite him?" Sion Li smiled, her tone full of meaning. I invited him so he could see with his own eyes what a good husband I got, so he wouldn't harbor the illusion that the whole world revolves around him. Don't you see how pathetic he is now? He doesn't resemble the perfect CEO image we once imagined at all. He's just someone who relied on his sister and his family. Now his sister is gone, and he no longer has money to squander. I heard the Song family is about to collapse. I glanced faintly at Ethan's song. He saw me, politely nodded, then quickly averted his gaze. Not long after, he silently left the wedding reception, not a trace of the arrogant, haughty demeanor of the one who was once the center of attention in a crowd. Money is the true measure of a person's character, always has been. So I must hold on to my career even tighter, never letting go. The wedding ended and we left. Lin Zhi asked me, "Where are we going now?" I replied nonchalantly, "To the company." "Jia Yu, you're a capitalist, but you want to exploit labor like that. Are you leaving any room for others to live?" I smiled, looking at her. "I heard you just bought a house and paid off your debts." Lin Zhi choked, then pouted. "All right, you win." After that, she obediently got into the car with me to work overtime. When we left work, she linked arms with me and suddenly whispered, "Jia Yu Zhao, thank you." I smiled faintly. When I got home, I received a text from her. "Good night, my light." In human history, there's a saying, "If I have never seen the sun, I can tolerate the darkness." I think perhaps I am her light, the one who lit up the darkness in her night. But what I need to do is continue to be a ray of light, not only to illuminate the path for others, but also to light up my own path ahead.